For our opening words today, from Trissa Hersey, Rest is Resistance, a Manifesto, her book. Treating each other and ourselves with care isn't a luxury, but an absolute necessity if we're going to thrive. Resting isn't an afterthought, but a basic part of being human. All right. Everybody take a deep breath. Some years back, I was not doing okay. I was in grad school, I was working 3 jobs, and a global pandemic was still raging. Needless to say, it was not a restful time. My sleep schedule was, to put it kindly, a mess. I was rushing from one job to another, trying to write and read between commutes and classes. It was physically too much for my body. And at the age of 27, it was too much to take. Did you know that you can get shingles under 30? Because I didn't. The chickenpox virus lies dormant, long defeated, but never completely gone, hiding at the ends of nerve cells, sometimes flaring up when the immune system becomes compromised by age or stress. I had stressed myself to the point that my nerves were now on fire. The most excruciating pain I had ever experienced in my life to date. And it could have been so much worse. It was contained, it was treated, and after a few weeks, it subsided. But the lessons and some of the scars remained. I cut back on my work, I reprioritized my classes, and I gave myself some time to rest. I know that I'm not the only one to have had a sudden confrontation with their own bad decisions. The fact that this isn't a unique story is part of the problem. It's a predictable outcome for a culture that treats bodies like machines and equates rest with wastefulness. And here's the truth. It isn't a bug. It's not an accident. It was built this way. From the Industrial Revolution to the gig economy we have today, rest has been framed as something that you earn through work rather than as a basic human need. For enslaved people, rest was stolen outright. For migrant laborers across the centuries, it has been denied through endless shifts. For caregivers, it was erased by the expectation of self-sacrifice for the other. Even today, we see echoes of this theft in overtime shifts that stretch long into the night, in the grueling residency hours for new doctors, and for the suppressed wages that force people into multiple jobs just to make ends meet. If the choice is work or starve, work or be on the streets, the grind isn't just encouragement, it's demanded. Keep on working, keep on grinding, because if you stop, you will fall behind and you may never catch up again. In this reality, resting becomes the enemy of survival rather than a critical part for it. The cost of this grind set isn't just physical. It's emotional, relational, and deeply, deeply social. Chronic fatigue erodes our patience, our creativity, our capacity for empathy, to be able to connect with others. It numbs us to the injustice around us because we are too tired to imagine anything different. And it keeps the systems that exploit us in place running smoothly because an exhausted people won't fight back. It is into this world that rest becomes a radical act. Trissa Hersey, the founder of the NAP Ministry, who is our opening words, challenges us to see rest not as reward, but as reclamation. She writes, "Rest is a form of resistance because it disrupts and pushes back against capitalism and white supremacy. Root systems that insist that our worth must be tied to our productivity." Decolonizing rest means rejecting the idea that we must earn peace, earn creativity, or time for healing. Rest is therefore not a privilege, it is a fundamental human right. Hersey goes on to reaffirm that we do not have to earn rest. Naps, she teaches, are a portal to imagine, to invent, and to heal. Rested bodies are engines for justice and reimagination. Not just surface-level self-care, but it's deep spiritual work, a liberation praxis based on reclaiming one's humanity. Reclaiming one's humanity through rest. When we break from that grind culture, not just to sleep, but to daydream, to sit, to reflect, we step into what Hersey calls dream space. This is a space where systems that have tried to steal our capacity to simply be. It is reclaimed in this space. The space is generative. It is where we imagine new worlds, new possibilities, new relationships, and new systems rooted in care, compassion, and yes, restfulness. You can't imagine a better world if you never stop long enough to imagine in the first place. Meanwhile, rest itself has been over-accessed by some, by those who benefit from the current structure, those with wealth and power. Just think of the leisure industries. How many people does it take to run a resort or a cruise ship? It's not inherently evil for one person to work so another person can rest. Hospitality can be a gift, a livelihood, even an art form. But the dynamic is worth noticing. As we live in a world where some people can buy rest in abundance, while those serving them may have none at all. In a healthy system, there is reciprocity. Everyone has the ability to give and receive rest. But in ours, the extremes are on full display, and the science underscores the stakes. Chronic sleep deprivation is strongly linked to higher risks of hypertension, type 2 diabetes, obesity, heart attack, and stroke. The list goes on. In controlled studies, just 4 nights of 4-hour sleep produced changes in insulin sensitivity, glucose tolerance, and produced symptoms similar to pre-diabetics. While cortisol, our stress hormone, spikes. These aren't abstract changes. They lay the groundwork for chronic illness, especially in communities that already face barriers to care and access. When rest is continually denied, the result is loss of health. The American Medical Association Journal on Ethics also reminds us that deliberate sleep deprivation is recognized under international law as a form of torture. Lack of sleep also doubles the odds of experiencing frequent mental distress, including anxiety and depression. Even short-term sleep loss impairs attention, memory, mood, and increases irritability. Chronic fatigue wears away our emotional resistance. our capacity for empathy, and our ability to dream beyond our immediate survival. So, while the stress piles on to lack of sleep, our bodies stay locked in a fight or flight response. Immune function drops, inflation rises, inflammation, blood pressure rises, and the parts of the brain that handle memory and decision making shrink, while fear and aggression get louder. Yet here, under the slow violence of chronic exhaustion, is baked into our very economy, particularly for those on the bottom of the wage scale. Low pay, unstable housing, unsafe working conditions, all of these aren't just workplace challenges, they're structural conditions designed to keep certain people too tired to resist. This is where we reframe rest not just as a tool for healing, but for healing generational trauma, racial and spiritual trauma. It begins the work of realigning ourselves to our ancestors and to our inherent humanity. To rest is to take a reclamation of what has been stolen. Rest interrupts that cycle. Deep sleep and even brief naps can give the body a chance to reset its hormone levels, calm inflammation, and provide recalibration. Our brains literally use sleep to wash away its chemical byproducts. Resting isn't just a personal luxury, it is a cognitive and collective act of repairing oneself. Without it, we stay overdriven and undermaintained. Kind of like having a car that you never ever change the oil in. So, resting as resistance. But it's also important to know just how sacred rest is. From the very beginning of the Hebrew Bible, rest is a part of the divine order. And so on the seventh day, God finished the work that had been done, and he rested. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy. Genesis 2 and 3. Look, if the Abrahamic Almighty had to take a day off, what hope did we have? According to Jewish theologian Abraham Joseph Herschel, he called the Sabbath a sanctuary in time. It's a period set apart for spiritual reflection, connection with the divine, and experiencing the holiness of time. A temple built not of stone, but of hours set aside for delight and presence. So, that original rest is not about divine fatigue, but about sanctifying that time itself for rest. Further, the Hebrew Bible states that the Sabbath is for everyone. You, your son, your daughter, your male and female servant, your livestock, and the foreigner residing in your towns, Exodus 20:10. Even the land is given a chance to rest in the Sabbath year and the Jubilee year, Leviticus 25. These were radical commands for their time. Rest as a right, rest as a holy decree, not a privilege. See, we can quote the Bible too. African spirituals carried this wisdom under the evil of slavery. Songs encoded with invitations to secret worship, and every stolen moment of rest a chance to resist. Catholic social teachings affirmed this with the new Rerum Novarum from 1891, written by the last Pope Leo XIII. Rest names, specifically, rest as part of the dignity of the worker, cited by labor organizers at the turn of the century in their demands for a weekend and for a 40-hour work week. Traditions around the world have recognized this call for us to rest. In Islam, rest and sleep are recognized as blessings from God, signs of divine mercy and power. The Quran states that, "And among his signs in your sleep by night and day, and your seeking of his bounty, indeed in it are the signs for the people who listen." Quran 30:23. Prophet Muhammad, praise be upon him, taught balance, prayer, and service, but yes, also to sleep. Your body has a right over you. Even in worship, he cautioned against overexertion, urging his companions to rest when they were tired and not to pray all night. In this way, rest becomes part of faithfulness itself, a way to honor the limits of our bodies and receive God's tranquility, or sakrana. In Buddhism, mindfulness and meditation are integral parts of the interpretation for this striving, a practice of non-doing, which has been taught over and over again, as a way to live fully and present in the moment. Parker Palmer writes in A Hidden Wholeness about creating an inner sanctuary, a peace where we may fully be at home with ourselves and with God. Rest creates the space where we are to receive our own life without judgment. Rest is also not solitary. Returning to the Sabbath, this was to be shared. Wayne Muller writes in Sabbath, Finding Rest, Renewal, and Delight in Our Busy Lives, that the Sabbath is not dependent upon our readiness to stop. We stop because it is time to stop. We stop because it is time to stop. Rest as an appointed time, not as a luxury that we indulge in only when we are finally burnt out. Our own UU worship, we take this time to pause each week, to gather from the week's noise. We light our chalice, we sing, we share, we reflect. We take this time to simply be. If rest is sacred, then to deny it is to violate something holy. The prophets across time, Amos, Isaiah, Jeremiah, they all condemned systems that overworked laborers and withheld rest from the poor. In UU theology, to honor the sacredness of rest is to work for a world in which everyone has time and space and security to experience it. Rest as worship, rest as prayer, rest as a covenant to repair one's body, mind, and soul. To rest is to trust that the world will keep turning even without our exhaustions, to trust that our worth is not in question when we close our eyes, to trust that liberation will not be found in the work of endless toil, but in persistence made only possible through rest. We may have inherited a society where overwork is praised as dedication and rest is another word for laziness. But today is National Lazy Day. And today we are going to practice some of that rest as resistance. starting now. Settle in. Deep breaths. Let your body find a position that is steady and supported. Whether you're sitting, leaning back, or just letting your weight be fully held. If it feels comfortable, you can close your eyes or simply let them rest with a soft, unfocused gaze. Take a slow, gentle breath in and let it ease out. Nothing is forced, nothing to control, just breathing in and out. As you rest here, still, gently breathing, you may notice your feet. You might imagine a gentle warmth there, like sunlight resting on your skin, or perhaps a cool wave washing over them, or the simple sensation of heaviness and release as you feel the tension flow away. Let that feeling settle, soak into your toes and across the arches, into your heels. When it's ready, let that comfort drift up into your ankles, circling the joints, loosening the tendons, making space for the small bones. They don't have to hold you up right now. They too can rest. Let that easiness rise into your calves. Soft glow spreading through the muscles as the tension flows away. Let that comfort move into your legs, back and front. Notice the muscles loosening, a gentle warmth or a simple feeling of heaviness. When your calves are ready, let that comfort rise to your knees, through the joint, behind it, around it, soothing, cooling, warming, wherever your body welcomes. Everything here is allowed to be still. Let that sense of rest travel into your thighs. Let the large muscles soften. Let the weight of your legs sink into the chair or the floor. No work to be done. Just be supported. Notice your hips. Imagine the comfort gathering there, warming or cooling, the tide slowly rising, loosening the joints, grounding you, keeping you, the place where your body meets the seat. Let these joints settle. Let the pelvis be and steady. When you are ready, move your attention to your lower back. Let this comfort fill from your hips, easing up along the spine, releasing the hidden tension. As though with each breath you are unwinding just a little bit more. Imagine the muscles across the small of your back releasing, like unclenching a fist you didn't realize you were making. Let that easiness spread up, settle in your belly. As you inhale, you might expand into that warmth. As you exhale, you might soften into the coolness. With each breath in, you might feel it rise and expand. With each breath out, you might feel it soften and release a little bit more. Bring this awareness into your middle, to the core of yourself, your back, your diaphragm, the ribs, the muscles along the spine. Let each breath loosen them a little bit more. When you are ready, notice your chest, the gentle movement of your breath. Feel your ribs, the muscles between them. Let each breath spread and ease further. Let the light, the warmth, the cooling wave fill around your heart. Let your heart feel open, unhurried, and safe. Let the comfort reach your upper back. Let it settle between your shoulder blades and across your shoulders. You may feel them drop, settling away. Let them rest here, growing heavier and calmer with each breath. When you're ready, let it ease down your arms. Let the light and the warmth and the cooling wave wash and overflow down your arms, through your shoulders, down through the muscles, down to the elbows. Let it flow through your forearms and wrists. Let it settle into your hands. Notice the ease gathering in your palms. Let the small joints here rest. Feel it through the back of your hands. Let it settle into each finger, right down to the fingertips. When you're ready, bring your attention back to your neck. Feel the muscles along the side and the back loosen. The throat softening. Release the tension in your jaw. Unclench your teeth and allow your lips to rest gently together. Feel the muscles around your cheeks and your eyes, your forehead. Let the tension held here flow away, down, down, and away. Let the skin soften and let the small muscles relax. Finally, when you're ready, bring your attention through your temples, across your ears, and let all of it converge from all sides to the crown of your head. Imagine a gentle warmth there, maybe a light breeze, pool of warmth settling in all around you. The simple sense of calm gathered here, surrounded and held. Here, your whole body can be at rest. From the tips of your toes to the crown of your head, each part of you supported, each part of you allowed to be still because it deserves to be still. Breathe here for a while, in and out. Let each breath draw in more of this comfort and release anything that you do not need. Let each breath remind you that this stillness is good. That this stillness is necessary. That this stillness is you. When you feel ready, you can bring your awareness back to this space, to the sounds, to the air on your skin, to the feeling of your body still supported, presence of the others around you. As we slowly return to this space with each other, carry this ease with you. This rest is yours, and you can return to it anytime you need. For our closing words by Sandra Dalton Smith. Rest is not for weaklings. Hollowing out space for rest is work. Finding time for rest, the hands and the feet of the promises we long to claim. It means saying no. It means having limits with ourselves. It means having limits with each other. It takes courage to rest in the midst of an outcome-driven society. It takes strength to walk away from good in pursuit of better.